Good evening, Hammond class parents. I'm coming to you this evening because I thought it might be easier for me to show you, rather than write to you, what we're doing in class right now. What we're focusing on is fractions, and specifically how to generate equivalent fractions and how to find common denominators. Let me give you an example. I'll write right here. If I were to give you the fraction, let's say 2/3, and I told you that you needed to generate an equivalent fraction, that essentially means give me a fraction which will give me the same amount of the whole as 2/3 would, but it's a different fraction. So that might be something like, let's say, well, let me backtrack for a second. In order to generate equivalent fractions, you have to know that in a fraction, we call this a denominator, what's on the bottom, and we call this a numerator, what's on top. And when we generate equivalent fractions, the rule is that whatever we multiply the bottom by, we must also multiply the top by. So let's say that I have a candy bar that is cut in thirds. There you have it, your candy bar cut in thirds. And 2/3 has nuts in it. Just make the line a little bit darker so that you can see it. Then I can create an equivalent fraction of 2/3 by multiplying my denominator by a number, any given number, but I must also multiply the top by the same number, the numerator by the same number. So let's suppose I decided to multiply by 2. So I multiply my denominator by 2, and I multiply by my numerator by 2. That means that the new equivalent fraction equivalent to 2/3, the new fraction equivalent to 2/3 that I am generating will be 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 2 is 6. And essentially what that is saying is that 2/3 of a candy bar, let's say, is the same thing as 4/6 of a candy bar. And we can see that because if we split this candy bar now into 6ths, and you see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of this candy bar now, the amount that has nuts in it remains the same, but it is now 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of the whole candy bar, which is now 6 pieces. There are now 6 pieces to the whole candy bar, but only 4 pieces have nuts in it. 4/6 is equal to 2/3.